swear I do not believe it! And they are back on turf!
Hello and welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotheham United podcast. Thank you all for joining us. We have today a very small back at Tuesday night's events at home to Port Vale, and it's time to look ahead to the FA Cup second round as Stockport County comes to town. We will be speaking later to a Stockport County podcast, the Scarf that Bagheera wore, later on to get a bit more information about Stockport, what to expect. With them being non-league, our knowledge is very limited. But that's for, that'll be up around half 8, something like that. We're the same team with you, still on Shay's lineup, mixed with us, and Danny, thank you for joining us, guys.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
We're doing very, very well. So let's start with Harvey Cowick. You've been really enjoying his hats.
Yeah. You're the only one, Harvey, that's enjoying them, because I am, mate.
I couldn't find humble time.
We're going to start with the sort of breaking news. It's sort of Rotheham United related.
It's like
breaking news as we start recording.
It's like a bit of an advent calendar, this, isn't it? Hopefully, we'll have some breaking news for each podcast that surpasses the last one in terms of humour and stupidity and funniness, if that's the right word, if that's a word. But this is going to take some beating, this one for me.
Shall we start with the one from the 1st of December, which is Will Griggs now got a backside like Kim Kardashian?
Yeah.
Will Grigg breaks the internet. There you go. That's 1st of December out of the way.
Yeah. And the 2nd of December is what looked like bad news was that Doncaster finally sacked Richie Wellens. We all thought he was doing a pretty good job for them, but he's gone. The good news is that the current rumour is that Alan Stubbs is favourite for the Doncaster job. Now, very early days, as we know. And it may well be that Alan Stubbs has linked himself to the job. I don't know. But that's where we stand at the minute. And Danny, that'd be a little Christmas present for us all, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. I mean, we played Doncaster, I think, end of February, start of March time. Now, granted, it is away. But imagine, just imagine, Paul Warne against Alan Stubbs, at Doncaster's ground and we're winning them. It'd be like whenever we played Kenny Jackett when it was at Portsmouth, only better, So, yeah, that would be a great Christmas present. I mean, it's all rumours at the minute, so anything could happen. But I think the fact it's appeared, 20 minutes before we went live, it was a bit of a, 2nd of December. Oh, look, we've got a nice bit of chocolate to show everybody on the show. Lovely stuff.
Exactly. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Whether they get some interesting news anyway, but it'd be lovely if Stubbs has got a job back in South Yorkshire, won't it,
It'd be lovely. It'd be great fun just to see it carry on in the way it's been carrying on for the last, I don't know how many months down at Keep, but it's, I almost kind of feel for him a bit, you know what I mean?
Okay, you're a better man than me.
I said almost.
Okay.
Mick says he almost feels sorry for him. I think it's time for one of these.
Cheryl Stone says that Keep always seems more 20-0s in charge. Yeah. If you ever saw England women beat Latvia women 20-0 at Keep on Tuesday. We're watching 1-1 against Port Vale. There's a 20-0 down the road.
It's interesting, because I think that's as many goals as been scored at Keep by a home team in the last 2 years.
Yeah, we don't often start with bashing as like rivals, to be honest with you.
No, we don't do it, to be fair. And to be fair,
it backfired.
Yeah, it's usually Donny's probably bottom of the list for teams that we'll be slagging off as well locally. But there you go. Every dog has its day. Got to take it.
When it rains, it pours. There you go.
Exactly. So that's that. That's that way. Let's talk about a bit of a pizza trophy wrap-up roundup. It ended up being a record-breaking night, club record-breaking night, as a 1-1 draw against Port Vale. As all records should be broken as a 1-1 against Port Vale. But nevertheless, it is an unbeaten record of 17 in a row. Just to sum up the run, Mick, before we talk about the Port Vale game, the run itself is a spectacular run of games. There's only Port Vale and maybe Scunny out of that who are not League One teams. Well, Bromley, obviously. So it's still an impressive run. You still win these games or not lose these games. It's an incredibly impressive run.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is. And yeah, the way that they're playing, the way that they've been playing at the moment, for the period of that run is just immense. I don't like talking about it. You know me, I tend to be a bit sort of. I don't want to say negative because that's not true. I know you'll say it is, but
it might be.
These things can, if you build them up, these things can start to become a monkey on your back. You know what I mean? In my head, anyway. But I mean, at the moment, even if we lose tomorrow or we lose on Tuesday or whatever, we will get it back. We will get it back, and we're not going to turn into a bad team. Excuse me, overnight. So. The run will come to an end at some stage, but then we'll go on another one, and that's the key. But yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic so far. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, it's Danny. This is not the end of the run, but is there a standout moment in that run? You got the Sunderland game, the Pompey game, JP Pete's Trophy games, big wins. Is there a standout sort of couple of moments in that run so far?
I think in terms of scoreline, you have to say the Sunderland game. That was a record breaker in itself. We'd never beaten Sunderland by a goal margin of 4 before. And then suddenly it just appears. And I think anyone's kidding you when they said they expected a 5-1 before the game. I think I saw on Twitter one person put the bet on and won God knows how much money. So yeah, that's a standout. But I'd say performance-wise, probably Ipswich. That were a difficult game and we were outstanding. Very limited chances for them. And then we came up against a very dug-in Oxford side and still performed relatively well with the things up against us. And I think I'm going to echo Warney and say that probably the worst game out of the 17 run was probably against Port Vale.
Yeah.
But, 17 unbeaten, like Mick says, it's definitely a monkey on our back now to try and keep it going. But in our first title winning season, we had an unbeaten run of 15, lost a few, and then had another unbeaten run of 10. So it's definitely doable. But let's just see how long we can keep this one going for. Like you say, we could lose on tomorrow or Friday or whenever you're watching this. But at the end of the day, we know how good we are, and I think one loss doesn't change that.
That's the key. That's absolutely the key. One defeat, one bad performance doesn't make you a bad team. Get that in now before people start banging on about fitness coaches and sacking managers and sacking board. Because we've not won a game.
I think
get it in.
It's also testament that it's the best teams that find a way to win regardless. Like even against Port Vale, we still found a way to win. Granted, it was penalties, but we still found a way to win or found a way to pick up points. Like with Oxford, we found a way to pick up points, even though the weather and Oxford's ruggedness, shall we say, was against us. We still found a way to pick up points. Even against Charlton, we found a way to pick up points in a team that was on the up. And they say that the best teams or the champions find a way to win and pick up points regardless. Don't want to put my hat on it yet, but we've sort of proved we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We look good. We look very good. That's the short and sweet of it. Let's talk about the game against Port Vale because, like you mentioned, Danny, it was not a sparkling performance. There were lots of problems with it. Let's talk about the lineup first of all, Mick. A stronger lineup than I was expecting. No kids in it, really. Well, literally no kids other than JJ. How surprised were you that we saw Rathbone and Lindsay in the same team? Icky get a start. How much of a surprise are those guys starting?
Rathbone, not so much, I think, because I don't know whether I'm right, but I suspect that this one-match ban does apply to the FA Cup, so it gives him that bit more sort of keeps his match sharp for next Tuesday night. He's only got a week between games. But yeah, Jake Hull was on the bench. I'm surprised we didn't see him. Unless there's been some agreement with the club that he's loaned to, I don't know. that he'd only play if it was absolutely necessary. It was a bit of a surprise, but it was more of a surprise the performance overall of the team. Nobody individually had a bad game, but just as a team, they were disjointed, or they felt disjointed. But like Danny said earlier on, we still managed to dig out a result from it. I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? There's not a lot of motivation, I don't think, to play in this competition, albeit Warney says there is. I don't know. It just didn't feel like a joined up performance. But then, we've set the bar really high, haven't we?
True. Well, in this competition, this is the first game we've not scored. We've not scored at least 4 goals in this competition. So I suppose we've set our own bar quite high, and this League 2 team we've come up against. I think that's probably why as well. For me, then before we come on to the positives, defensively, I don't know what was wrong, but there was something wrong defensively.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's give credit to Port Vale. That's fine. But we should be defending better against a team like Port Vale, a League 2 team. Teams like I'm doing that. Teams like
you are.
Yeah. They'll be after you.
We're a league above, and the way we've defended in the 19 games in the league this season was completely different to the entire 90 minutes on Tuesday. I thought defensively was probably our worst performance this season.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of factors to consider with that. I mean, it's our first taste of the knockout side of this competition since 2013. So it's Paul Warne's first taste of the knockout side of this competition. And generally in knockout competitions, other than the FA Cup, we don't really do that well. We don't really go that far in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. I think we've reached the third round once by going first, second, third. So that could be it. It's a new experience for Warney, and like you said, at least we got the result out of it, which granted is the least you can ask for. But in terms of defence, maybe because the system switched and we put Harding on the right and brought Matic in, potentially. And then because we had to swap it around again and put Edmonds Green there, and there were a fair bit of swapping and changing in terms of formation at some points. But the highlight for me that sums it up, it's like that comedy goal that was very nearly Port Vale's winner. Where like Regis hit it into Icky and then Victor's had to save it. It's like, what? How is that one of the best defense in League One, and that's happened? However, it just goes to show how football is a game of swings and roundabouts, because we had our comedy goal and it was saved, but our friends at S6 had their comedy goal and it went in. So
that was beautiful.
Swings and roundabouts. There you go.
Oh, we're saving that for next podcast. Advent calendar.
It just shows when things are right. Things are right. When you've met your own luck. When you're playing well, you make your own luck. We've been at the wrong end of that in the Championship, not just last year but other years, where somebody shoots from 40 yards and you just know it's going in and it goes in. Whereas at the minute we are getting the luck, even when we aren't playing very well. So we'll take it for as long as it comes. Let's talk about a positive. Make a big positive for me. We talked about this on the night. Adolfin. I was so impressed with that guy, and I have been impressed with every time. Other than that Wigan game where he get fouled within, but debut, a few minutes in, we can forget about that. Other than that, I've been so impressed with him. We have got some player there that can't even get it teamed.
Yeah, and he's not going to get it team at the moment, is it? Which is such a shame for him. But it's fantastic for us as a club to have somebody like that on bench who can just come and slot in probably any of those 3 positions that we play in midfield. I mean, he's quick, despite the fact that he doesn't look like he's moving. Well, he does he? It looks like he's just sort of gliding across the floor, just a gentle stroll, but yeah, he still seems to beat people to the ball. He's just got such a lot of style about him. I really like him. I really, really like him, and it's a shame for him at the moment he can't break into team. But I suspect. And the likes of Jamie Lindsay and Rathbone and possibly Ben Wiles know that once he does break into the team, it's going to be very difficult to displace. So we'll have to wait and see. But he is a good player. It's great that we've got him. Really good buy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've got a lot of time for him. A lot of time for him. I'll go to Liam McGarry. Who messed up more at the end? Was it Michael Smith or Kieran Sadler?
Oh, don't.
Talk about mistakes. I felt so sorry for Sadler. I can sort of accept what Smith did. He just miscontrolled it. But what Sadler did was almost unforgivable. But it's because he's trying so hard. He's trying too hard, and then he's just making mistakes. I could just imagine how frustrated he is. He's more frustrated with himself than we are with him, aren't they?
You could have on Tuesday night. You could have put Kieran Sadler at the back of a bull with a shovel, and he'd still have missed. And that's just how it is for him at the moment, isn't it? I'm with you, man. I do feel for him. But it's too many touches, too many turns, too many attempts at beating his man, too many attempts from too far out, and then he gets one which is literally a tap-in, and he gets a rush of blood and panics essentially. But Smithy should have buried it anyway. That's my answer, Liam. Smithy should have buried that.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think sadly his issue, if you're not really an issue, but it's sort of gone into the same thing that the same rut that Freddie was in, where he tries too hard and then he gets a sitter and he fluffs it. No, it happened to Freddie.
Crew.
Yeah, Crew. That was it. It happened to Freddie against Crew. Had a bit of a stint out the side and then came in and he's been amazing since. Now, could that happen to Sadler? Potentially. If one of the lads in the attacking midfield picks up an injury, that's potentially his chance. If Chio is rested, granted he don't like playing on the right, but he can still do a very good job there, that could be his chance. And I think with Sadler, it is just about seizing the opportunity, but I think he needs to take a lesson out of John Breckin's book, look after the ball and it'll look after you. But if you try and do too much with the ball, it won't like you and it'll run away from you.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Sadler could take that on and give that a go. If he gets a run out against Stockport, just keep the ball moving, keep it moving. Don't try out fancy with it. Route 1 football. We don't have to do Route 7, do Route 1. And then you can move on to Route 2,
Yeah. I'm really, really glad he scored his penalty. I'm so glad. If he missed his penalty as well, it just been so bad for him. Frankly, it was good. But the goal, I think he got the assist for the goal, mate, and it was a belting cross. And
absolutely,
I know JJ maybe should have done better, but Smith, again, Sonny Smith 50th goal for the club as well.
Peach of a cross, weren't it? Absolute peach, right on that 6-yard line, curling away from keeper. Keeper can't come for that. Maybe JJ should have got his head on it. I'm glad he didn't, because that would have been a much more difficult chance than it was for Smudge. So goal's a goal, and an assist is an assist for him, and hopefully that'll do his confidence a little bit of good, because it wasn't anything. He didn't do anything tricky. He just got the ball, took it out wide, and put it in the box. Nice and simple.
Just got to show what he's capable of.
Yeah, exactly. And then David Amu scored with a late goal. Again, not very good defended, but these things happen. They come up 2 or 3.
There's been an argument I've seen on social media that Freddie might have had a hand in that goal. In that, instead of passing it to Sadler, who was wide open on the opposite side of the box, he's gone for goal and then obviously lost possession. I think that's a bit harsh because it's a bit tenuous. There's about 50,000 touches between that and them scoring, but it did allow them that attack. Just for that was about a 5-second period of Freddie being the old Freddie. And for the rest of the game, he was as he has been, chasing down, closing down, winning the ball back, putting pressure on, and forcing the opposition to lose possession at least, if not getting it back. But with just that 1 minute of old Freddie, weren't it?
I think it was just a rush of blood of, I'm going to score, but everyone makes mistakes.
It should have definitely laid it out wide, but to blame him, it's just like you said, Mick, there's so much water under the bridge after that.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, it's like blaming somebody else missing a chance in 70th minute. Of course, when we considered in 90th. Yeah, all right, they should have done better, but some other things have happened. Penalty shootout happened. There were some fantastic penalties, Danny. Some really good penalties from both teams. I think Port Vale's second penalty was the best. It was just right through 3 keepers would have stopped that one. It was just stunning.
Wow, just it's a testament to the quality we've got, and to be fair, Port Vale as well with those penalties. But what I will say is fair play to Victor. He got every penalty's direction right, bar one, which is quite an achievement for a goalkeeper. And he saved one as well. So obviously they've been doing the homework, and I've read an interview I think Warner did with the Yorkshire Post, I think, and they'd actually gone through the drills with him of which player shoots where. And thankfully, the guy, I think, what was he called? The guy who scored for them, Amu. Yeah, thankfully they'd watched Amu's penalty taken and says he always goes middle but slightly to the right, and fair enough, and he goes middle slightly to his right, and Victor saves it. So yeah, but the penalty taking itself was incredible. You know, like I think the one penalty that wasn't really up to the same standard as the others was probably Freddie's that just squeezed in. But every other penalty for us, like Ferguson, Sadler's, Smith's, Matter, were incredible. I mean, fair play to the lads. And whoever's taking the penalty drills, yes, and a pat on the back as well. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mentioned it when we were watching it, Mick. Watching Victor, he moved so late. And all right, it cost him, I think the first one, he moved too late. But it then benefited. He probably would have saved it anyway because of the power it's hit. But then the fourth one, he waited and he moved to the right. He said they've done the homework so that he didn't go too early, and that's key. I remember last season with Jamal Blackman in goal.
Yeah,
his penalty technique was very, very bad. He went so early, and Victor's the opposite, and that's in a penalty shootout. That's massive.
Yeah, I mean Jamal Blackman. God bless him. I mean, he's started diving for his next penalty already, hasn't he? You know what I mean? He is so early on it. But yeah, I mean, Victor did really well. Did really, really well. Like you said, going the right way virtually every time is 50% of the battle in a penalty shootout, isn't it? Because you're going to save at least one.
Yeah, and he retrospectively earned his Man of the Match award.
Yeah.
When he got it, he hadn't done anything, and then after that, he made a couple of really good saves and one penalty shootout. So
yeah.
The one thing I can compare Victor's technique to is watching Schmeichel against England in their penalty shootout, and obviously they spent time at Leicester together, so it's obviously that's how they've trained them to take the penalties. Wait until the player moves and then you move, because me being my nerdy football self, I've watched back the penalty shootout against Denmark. And you just see how late they move, and it's like, so what Victor does. And if that's at least one contribution that Leicester's youth have given Victor, then thank you very much. We will take that every day of the week.
We will. So we're through to the last 16, what used to be called the area quarterfinal. And the area quarterfinal sounds better than the last 16. I don't care what anybody says. I know it's still the last 16, but the area quarterfinal would sound much better. But it's because the quarterfinal is then not regionalised, from what I can tell. So they don't. I don't know why. It's stupid. But anyway, we are through the draw. I know you can't wait for the draw, Mick.
I can't look forward to it, mate. I've got myself some beers in, and some nibbles and sausage rolls and all that sort of stuff. I'm making an event of it.
This with the flag waving ready.
Yeah.
It is on Saturday afternoon after whichever the early kickoff is on live until it's a championship game this time, isn't it?
It's a Coventry game, isn't it?
Is it Coventry?
I think so.
It is now. But there you go. We can draw. I'm not sure. I haven't got the list in front of me, but we can basically draw the northern teams that are left in it. I'll see if I can find them while we're talking. Because obviously the southern ones. Thankfully, there are no under 21s left in the northern section. Us Northerners have managed to see off those pesky under 23s.
Up the north, come on.
Whereas Chelsea and Arsenal still prevail in the southern section. So there you go. We can still draw Bolton, Carlisle, where are we? Wigan, Hartlepool, because obviously they beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-0, which is hilarious. Oldham are through and Crewe are through, and there is also Tranmere against Harrogate yet to play as well. So we'll find out. That is played the first week in the new year. So the first Tuesday in the new year is when that's scheduled to be played, whoever that is. I'd ask you guys who you want, but I mean I don't care. Are you really bothered?
No. Out of the lot, I'd go Hartlepool just to show Wednesday how it's done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We'll even take him away just so we can show him how it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may be wrong, but I think that was the first penalty shootout win at New York Stadium. We lost to City in a penalty shootout draw in the group stage a few years ago. So then another very small bit of history, but nevertheless, I'm pretty sure it's a bit of history. We'll take everything we can get. There we go. Shellstone's summed it up for me here. The southern section: Crewe, Oldham, Hartlepool, Bolton, Carlisle, Wigan, Tranmere, or Harrogate. With Tranmere and Harrogate yet to play. I think that's played the week before Christmas. Harrogate away would be nice. We haven't played Harrogate away before. Anyway, let's move on. Anything else you want to cover from Tuesday? That's just about everything, isn't it? I'm not sure we've missed it off.
There weren't a great deal happened, were there, really? Let's be fair.
No, we've done well to this man, sorry, to be honest.
I mean, kudos to the 140 Port Vale fans that made the trip on a... It's bad enough making a trip out of Port Vale on any night. But on a pizza trophy, that's fair. That's good. That's really good. And listen, they're a good side. They're not a bad side. They dealt with us really well. So they're another one of those teams that slowed the game down. And that may well have been something else that had an impact on the way that we play, because we don't like it. We don't seem to be able to cope as well as we should be able to against teams that do that. Wickham obviously being the prime example of that kind of nonsense. So
yeah. Okay. Cool. So the more important one, FA Cup second round action returns. We are unfortunately on a Friday night, but that's how it is. A sold out away end from Stockport County, which is going to be really cool. Do we have any update, Danny? Do you know roughly how many we've sold from our end? I haven't seen any updates. Not many, I don't think.
It's not good reading for us. Apparently, we've not sold that many. I think we sold nearly 3,000 as of 9 o'clock this morning. Thursday morning, that is, for everybody else watching. It's a different time. But yeah, so it'll more or less be 50-50. Like, we're lucky if we get 60-40 split, I think. But it should make for a cracking atmosphere. Potentially one of the best atmospheres in terms of away fans that New York's had this season. And all I can say is fair play to Stockport. If you've got that many fans following you in the FA Cup when you're 2 divisions below, fair play. I mean, they might be expecting something similar to Bolton, but still, selling out our away end, fair play to you. That's only what the big clubs are capable of, so fair play to you.
Yeah. And to be fair, I've lost my point. Our assessment is completely gone. I've no idea what I'm going to tell them. Anyway.
It's like Christmas light is constricting your head.
Yeah, it must be. It's very strange. I was completely gone. It was going to be an interesting point. Well, I thought it would be interesting. It's gone now anyway.
The thing is, in days gone by for us, certainly the second round of the FA Cup was a big event, because it meant that you're going to get through the third round and the chance of that lucrative draw with one of the bigger boys, the bigger clubs. I don't know why I don't feel that way anymore. I genuinely don't, and I don't know whether it's got. I'm sort of just got my head fairly squarely in that League One battle. That anything else is just a distraction. I don't know whether that's what it is or not. But the second round of the FA Cup always used to be a big event. But it seems
that. Well, the first round's a big event. The third round's massive, but the second round is just sort of neither here nor there for me.
That's probably because we've been so bad in it for I don't know how many years.
Hey, speak for yourself. It's 2 years to the day since Solihull away. That's what that is the single biggest historic turnaround in FA Cup history, right? Oh, yeah. In 150 years, no team has turned around a 3-goal deficit other than Rotheham United. Granted, it was against Solihull, but the point still stands.
I'll take that, yeah. The point I was going to make, I've remembered.
Brilliant. Well done.
If this was at their place, we'd sell out.
Yeah.
If we had 2,000 tickets, wherever it is at Stockport, we would sell that out. I think it's just a home game. It's Friday night's not helping. A bit of attendance as well, I think, as well. Yeah. Anyway, let's find out a bit more about Stockport, shall we, mate? Yeah?
Why not?
So we have Russ joining us from the Scarf That Bagheera Wore podcast. Oh, I'm messing with my screen. There we go. Thank you for joining us, Russ.
Hi, lads. You okay?
You all right?
Very good, thank you. How is the excitement building in Stockport for Saturday?
For Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, it feels like a Friday
Sorry.
now, doesn't it? I wouldn't say. It's funny. It's not like massive excitement as it maybe should be. It's a free hit for us. We're not. I think I've just heard you backstage, Mick, saying that you're concentrating on the league. That's exactly what we're like. We are concentrating on the league. That's the most important thing. We did the hard thing by getting past Bolton, and we didn't even expect to do that. To be fair, so it's kind of a free hit, and whatever happens tomorrow night will happen. We're kind of coming. We've sold out our away end. We'll make lots of noise, and we'll just see what happens. I'm not expecting to win at all.
I mean, to be fair, you have beaten the best team in League One, apparently. So to get age, so it's a bit of a standing joke. That's what.
Yeah.
It's funny. I heard they get battered everywhere they go. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Well.
I came on your show yesterday. I talked about Stockport being historically a Football League club. We know about the downfall of Stockport and how when things are wrong. Just give everybody who's listening and watching a bit of a sort of rundown of how everything seems to be moving back in the right direction, finally.
Yeah, well, obviously we had a big downfall. I mean, since 2005, the club was poorly run. We've actually done a 6-part series, 2 hours each episode of the detailing that whole downfall. Obviously, I don't expect any of your listeners to go and listen to that, but yeah, we charted all that. The reason why we're on our way back up is because the fans cleared the decks and pushed all of the silent shareholders out, which made way for a new investor to come in who's a local businessman. I've heard 500 and I've heard 800 million that he's worth. Wow. And he's pumping that into the club now. So we bought Bolton's captain. We're buying Football League players. So it's all looking pretty good. The ground's been done up. We're having a training ground built. It's just all looking pretty rosy. So we had a bit of a faulty start with our manager, Simon Rusk, that was appointed. So we sacked Jim Gannon, obviously a club legend. The natives were not happy about that. Employed an under-23 manager from Brighton. Didn't go well. So now we sort of sacked him, and now we've got Dave Challoner, which is the right appointment. And all of a sudden, Dave Challoner's first game, for some reason, same players, same personnel, completely clicked within a couple of days, and he went and got a draw away at Bolton, on his third day at the club. Wow. We've not been beat since then. So we are going to come with our tails up tomorrow night. I'm not saying we're going to do anything because we recognise that from my point of view, I said this last night to you, Matt. There's a 2-division gap. You are at the top of your league, albeit on goal difference. I think it'll be too much. I think you'll either edge it or it'll be 2 or whatever. Win by 2 goals.
Just out of curiosity, Russ, what is your unbeaten run number at the minute?
It's not as many as yours. So if that's what they're the games you're playing, I think it's 5. Yeah,
that's good enough. We've now got the tagline: "The Battle of the Unbeaten Sides."
Yeah, something's got to give, hasn't it? Something's got to give. Something's got to give tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the thing that I guess why we're dangerous for you is because we will have no pressure. There'll be no pressure on us. We're coming with playing really well. We're going to have 2,600 of us making a racket. And if you don't have many and you're not making much noise, then that could play into our favour as well. I'm trying to gather all the positives really, because I think on the pitch, on paper, you're ahead of us by some distance. I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, we all watched the Bolton game because we knew we were going to play the winner, and as I mentioned again last night, a proper cup tie. From a neutral point of view, it's such a good game to watch. But one of the reasons I found it really enjoyable is because it seemed like neither of you could defend. No. Is that a running theme, or is that just a one-off because Bolton were a better team?
No, so under the previous manager, the previous manager's ethos was do not lose, basically. So the defence was really tight. As soon as Challoner came in, it's a puzzle that he's got to solve because it's the same players. But for some reason, we are conceding. We're scoring a lot more than we were doing under Rusk, but we're conceding a lot more. But we are winning games now, so we're quite happy. Yeah, I mean, you saw the three goals were just. I mean, we give Bolton a 3-0 head start almost, didn't we? Like 2-0 and 3-1 head start. But then played them pretty much off the park after that. So yeah, I'm expecting that those sort of mistakes won't happen. We won't. I don't think we'll gift you any goals. I hope not. Anyway, I hope not.
No, yeah, we're one of them teams. If we get a first goal and sip of blood, I think it could be tricky. That's what Bromley found in the first round. We got the first goal and that was the end of the game. I suspect it could be the same, but remains to be seen. Talk me through some sort of key players for Stockport. We all watched the game like I mentioned, but who are sort of standout players to watch out for on Friday?
Yeah, so we've got the ones that you'll probably know are Anthony Sarcevic and Paddy Madden. So we signed those in the past 12 months and sort of 4 weeks. So those two. Madden's probably not going to start. We don't think. We've got Scott Quigley up front, who I think was he last season's League Two top scorer. So we brought him in from League Two. So they're three to look out for. John Rooney possibly might play. So Wayne's younger brother. He does hit the odd thunder bastard, so that could come out. And I guess the one that you should look out for, even if only because you'll probably watch him and think, bloody hell, he's pretty good. And it's called Southam Hales. He plays right wing back. He started off at Cardiff, and we signed him from Hartlepool. And he's just rapid. Little Welsh right wing back. He's rapid. So if depending on how you play, because we will play three at the back probably with wing backs, your left-sided defensive-minded player perhaps might have a job on his hands. I don't know who that is. I think you said, Matt, yesterday it was some lad that played up front for Ireland, I think, or something.
Chio's on the right. He plays as right wing back.
Right.
We've got Shane Ferguson who plays for Northern Ireland. Probably but they're both wing back. But he's the most defensive wing back we've got. But he's not quick. That's the thing. That's the interesting thing with that. He's not very quick. We've got Mikel Miller, who is quick, but not very good defensively. So it's going to be interesting to see how we match up that, because, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, squad.
I was going to say our left wing back is a lad called Ryan Rydell, who he's had loads of plaudits recently, and he assisted a couple of goals on Saturday from a left wing back position. So it should be interesting. It should be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should have. When we played Bromley, Chio gave whoever their left back were. He had loads of hair. I think he's having nightmares about him now. It just caused him all sorts of problems.
Yeah. Don't try not to mistake. Don't mistake Bromley for Stockport County though, because I mean Bromley traditionally we've been in non-league for 10 years now, which honestly eats away at my soul every single day.
I can imagine.
But Bromley are a team that are really well set up, but to be in the National League, whereas we're trying to get out of it, so we have to have a bit of both. Sort of, we have to be a bit National League, but also have a bit about us as well going forward. So Bromley are always sort of are outside the playoffs or mid-table. Might do well the odd season, or might have a good run of games. So. How I don't know at what stage you played Bromley, but it will be a different test. So I'd say try not to think of Bromley as a yardstick. Yeah. Because we play completely differently to Bromley. I think did we get a good? I'm not sure if we played them this season actually already. I'm not sure. But yeah, just try not to make that mistake.
No, it's certainly like I said last night. I think that Stockport feels like a test. It is a banana skin. Bromley was a typical FA Cup banana skin. This is one that we sort of potentially feel could bite us on the backside. It's one of those games, as is all FA Cup. If we turn up and play our A game, it will be game over. Good night. But if we don't, Stockport feel like the type of team we're going to capitalise on that.
Yeah, we probably will.
To be fair, when we played on Tuesday night in the Daft Pizza Trophy, all the team that played were either in the first team or sort of on the periphery of the first team, and it wasn't a great performance at all.
No.
It was very disjointed. We've just been talking about it, obviously, earlier in the podcast. Very disjointed. I don't think you'll see that tomorrow night on Friday night. However, hopefully we can up our game a little bit. But bearing in mind, looking back at how you played against Bolton, if Stockport approached the game that way with us, that will benefit us massively.
Yeah.
We're not a team that, for some reason, and this possibly explains why we had the problems the other night. We do not do well against teams that sit back, and try and soak up the pressure, slow the game down. We just, for some reason, we just have a bit of an issue with that. We do like a team to come and attack us. So I've got my fingers crossed that that's what you're going to do tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'd put my house on it, to be honest. I think because that's what Challinor wants to do. It's the way he wants to play. He said it. He said in an interview today, and he said that it's a good test for us because you, as a club, are where we're aiming to get to. Top of League One, flirting with the Championship. That's where the chairman wants us to be. He's actually like a 7-year plan to get to the Championship. Build up the ground to 22,000 and all this sort of stuff. So, we're really excited about that. But yeah, today, the manager said he wants that, you're the test, you're where we want to get to. So it'll be a really good test to see how far we've come in the short space of time that he's been at the club. So that's all it is for us. We're not, we know where we are. We know we know where we are in the league structure. We know what we've got. Just be shackles off basically for us. But like you say, if we come and attack you, you'll probably pick us off, I would say. So yeah.
Yeah, possibly. We are better than Bolton. As much as they like to think they are, we are better than Bolton. Attacking and defensive, both sides. So, but that's if we turn up. That's the big question, if we turn up. So, thank you for this. So I'm going to finish off by asking the question we all dread. Can I have a score prediction?
Well, I reckon we will score. So I'm going to go for... Head says 2-1 Rotherham. Heart says 1-1. Back to EP. On the telly. BBC.
Again.
That's what my heart says. But yeah, I think 2-1 Rotherham realistically.
Cool. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Mick, Danny, anything else you want to ask us before we let him go?
Can I just say, Russ, that I think your podcast title, the name of your podcast is the finest podcast name of any that I've ever seen. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations on that.
Cheers. Well, we had a chat about that with Matty Stay. He said that Bagara was not very revered at Rotheham, but he is at Stockport County. So, yeah,
love it.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.
Well, cheers, Russ. If anybody wants to catch it, like Scarf Bagara will check them out and. Good luck for the rest of the season, not tomorrow, though.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
Right. Cheers, Ross.
So there we go. That's the Stockport County view. I like them. I do like Stockport. I'm not just saying it because Russ has been on us. My childhood is brought up playing Stockport on a regular basis. Those games we played them in Stockport were always good, entertaining games as well. Anybody my age will remember playing them a lot.
And they're not a club that should be in National League.
That's like North of the year, weren't they? They're just crazy.
The way he's described Stockport's story, it's like no disrespect to Stockport at all, but it's like just a longer, stretched out version of our story. You know what I mean? Like dodgy owner and the club just sinks, but unfortunately for Stockport, they just sunk into a lower league. But obviously they've got a guy in and they're turning it round. We got Tony in and turn it round. So they are two clubs, both from the north of England, who are heading in a similar direction. Obviously, we're just a bit more advanced than they are because it basically just happened for us first, But no, Stockport's like it's one of them teams where it's in that litter of those big cheese Premier League clubs. You've got Man United and Man City quite close by, but then you've got another club that's very well followed, but not as big as the other ones that are coming up and showing them what they can actually do. Like it's similar to us and Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday in a sense. So, I really do hope they go up this season because I think to have Stockport back in the Football League would give a lot of people nostalgia of, that's a proper league club that's come back, Yeah.
Yeah, and there's always a bit of football snobbery in my head that I'd much prefer to see Stockport and Wrexham in League Two rather than Forest Green and
Salford.
Arrow, Salford. Yeah. It's Fleetwood.
I'm not wearing that on Barrow. Barrow for me should.
Oh, well, yes, I might be wrong. Barrow, yeah.
But then I'm old, aren't I?
Salford definitely.
Salford definitely not.
Salford and the Vegans, I think.
Yeah, let's get rid of them. Let's bring some proper teams back up.
Yeah.
Interesting that we're referred to as, again, a benchmark. We are a benchmark club for these other clubs. It was interesting to listen to Tony Stewart talk to the official site the other day. He's still got the passion, he's still got the hunger from listening to him he still wants to succeed at this place. And where we are now, from what I'm reading between the lines, where we are now is not necessarily a success for him. He wants more.
It's not a success, is it? It's not a success, but he's talked right at the start when he came in. He talked about that dream of the Premier League and things like that. I think that's still a pipe dream, quite frankly. However, the Championship should be where we should be, based on the club that he and Paul Warne and the other staff have built. And it's great that we're a benchmark for other clubs, and it's right that we should be. It's absolutely right that we should be, because what he and the team down at that club have done in the last 10 years it's remarkable. The turnaround and the change of everything, absolute root and branch of the club is what other people should and are beginning to aspire to. And I know we're only a League One club, I accept that, but we're a solvent League One club, and with a fantastic ground and a fantastic manager and a fantastic team, and it's taken a long time to build that. It is great that people aspire to it, and it's interesting as well. What's interesting as well is that you've got clubs like Rotherham who are doing well, you've got clubs like Accrington who are run well and doing well, you've got clubs like Stockport who are looking to work on the same sort of basis. Looking at Doncaster, I know we've joked about Doncaster, but the noises that are coming out of Doncaster are that we want to rebuild this club into a sustainable football club, and if that means being in League Two and League One for however long, let's get ourselves into a position where Rotheham United are, essentially, is what they're saying. I'm obviously not using this as an example, but there are clubs that are starting to try and do that now. And that's great to see, because that puts all the more pressure on all these other idiots who are just spending money like it's going out of fashion. So, brilliant for me.
Yeah. I think as well, it's quite flattering that, number one, we've got a very wide range of clubs saying that we're their benchmark. We've got Ipswich down to Stockport saying the Rotherham are the benchmark we want to get to. But it's also quite flattering that, I don't know if people listening or watching have seen, but the Crouch report that's come out to do with the football regulator, there are only 2 clubs that are actually praised in the entire EFL and Premier League, and they are Accrington and Rotherham. They are the 2 clubs that have any sort of praise given to them. Like, you've got your likes of Derby and Reading and a few others that are basically just given the spoon of shame, for how they're run.
And rightly so.
Yeah, and rightly so. But then you look at Accrington and Rotherham, and you sort of have to go, yeah. I think there's a very strong argument between Rotherham and Accrington of which is the most sustainable club in the EFL. And it'd be interesting to put it to a vote. Which club do you think is the most sustainable in the EFL, Accrington or Rotherham? I mean, reply in the comments. Which ones do you think? I mean, I know it's the Rotherham podcast and we've got a bias here, but 2 of the best sustainable clubs in the EFL. And we are like Russ has said, like Paul Cook said, like Stockport manager said, Rotherham are a lot of clubs' benchmark. And to say we've turned it round from 2008 to where we are now, it's extraordinary what Tony Stewart's done. And he deserves everything under the sun. He mind an MBE or an OBE, whatever he's got. He needs a bloody knighthood for what he's done here, I swear. Yeah,
he does. Lynn McGarry, what's your opinion on Tony Stewart thinking we can reach the Premier League? Goosebumps just thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know, every so often. I know it's a pipe dream, but every so often, he laid in bed just falling asleep. It's just nice to dream about getting there. And I don't think it's realistic without more investment. That's fairly significant investment. And when I say significant, I mean we could spend £20 million would be significant investment for us.
What are you going to spend it on?
Well, that would have to be in the Championship. And to be fair, that 20 million quid could go 10 million pounds on extra on wages a season, and then some transfer fee. But it would take for us what we would call significant investment. Piggies would call it nothing, and Sheffield United wouldn't. We know that's nothing to them. But for us, that's what I would say would be significant investment. But it would have to be in the Championship. There's no point spending it now. If you spend 20 million quid and go up your stuff, it's got to be done in the Championship.
But the clubs that are doing that, and have done that, I've got no way of doing it.
Well, you look at the money. Derby is much more than 20 million. As a ballpark figure, you look at what Brentford did. I'd be interested to know Brentford's net spend. Is it going to be 20 million over all them years with the sellings they've had? That's our, for me. That's we look at us being a benchmark. Brentford are our sort of benchmark. Look at what they did. We're starting to do that on a much smaller scale. We can dream.
Bournemouth, to a certain degree as well, did a similar sort of thing, didn't they? Where they stuck with the manager, they stuck with the style. Yeah. Yes, I accept that they had an investment, but they got something to invest in. You know,
true.
And your likes of Derby and Piggies down road and all these other clubs, Reading, investing money, investing in inverted commas, because they're not actually investing in anything. You know, they've not got a bend. They've not got a benchmark to start from, if you like. They just basically come with a blank canvas, throw a load of money at it, and hope that it sticks. Whereas Bournemouth didn't do that. Swansea didn't do that when they went up originally. You know what? So Burnley, it is definitely doable.
I think the main aspect that we need to strive for before even considering going for the Premier League is becoming sustainable in the Championship.
Yeah.
And I mean, not like 5 years sustainable. I mean, probably 10 years sustainable. You know, like the run we had between 51 and 68, you know, that's sort of level in the second division. Because, I mean, one of them seasons we finished third, you know. So we could do a Barnsley and potentially do it on the bounce, but I don't know.
That was never sustainable. As from an outsider, that Barnsley thing were never going to last. They were never going to be there this season, were they? That was always going to be a one-off last season.
Yeah, but I mean, to say Rotherham get into the Premier League, on paper, it sounds ludicrous. Yeah. You know, like Rotheham United being in the first division, but it has been very close in the past. And if we continue to run it the way we're running it, it's one of them where it's just like, why not? You know, it sounds daft to say, but why not? I mean, I'm fully reserved to the fact that Rotherham will probably never get to the Premier League in my lifetime. However, never say never. You know, to quote Justin Bieber, never say never.
I've never heard of him. Who does he play for? The bottom line is that Tony Stewart, Paul Warne, and everybody else at the club are putting the building blocks in place now and have been doing for us to achieve. And if you're going to tell me that the quality of football in the Championship is way above what we can achieve on the budget that we've got now, then I don't believe you. We've been in the Championship for the last three times we've been in there, and yes, I accept that we've got relegated. So this is not I'm not making the point that we're any better, but what I am saying is that the level of the standard in that division is poor. It is poor. We should have stayed in there each time that we've been in there because we've been good enough to do that. We've just not scored enough goals or whatever the reasons were. But the level and the standard is nothing at all to worry about.
Yes, we can dream. That's what football's all about.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Is football's all about dreaming of the Premier League. A little League One dreaming of the big time.
Exactly.
It's like Bournemouth, isn't it? But I imagine when Bournemouth was sat marauding in League Two with us, they didn't have a dream about being in the Premier League, but they were for quite a long time. Granted, they had a lot of investment, which is probably one of the reasons they got there, but they used it smartly. Now, if we establish ourselves in the Championship for a fair few seasons, would we get that significant investment of somebody going, you know what, we can see what you're doing, go for it? We don't know, because that'll be X or Y years in the future. But I think the next step up with Rotherham in terms of establishing ourselves is maintaining Championship football and not just breaking the yo-yo years, but the upper end of it. We can't go, we tried, but now we're in League One. No, we need to go, we tried and we succeeded, and now we're in the Championship. And we're not a million miles away at all.
No, we've got to shake off this big club mentality. We've got to shake off this mentality that Sunderland, Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday are big clubs. They're not big clubs. They're as big as we are because they play in the same division as we are, and that gives them no right to be any higher than us. But on the flip side of that, just because we only get 9,000 at home every home game, why does that mean that we've got no right to get any further? It doesn't. It's what's behind the scenes. It's what's on the pitch and what's going off behind the scenes that gives you that ability to start climbing up the league. Not how many supporters you get through the gate or how many supporters you could possibly get in your stadium should anybody decide to turn up. You know what I mean? So yeah. Think about it. It could happen, mate. I can't see it but you never know.
We can always dream. Back to Friday. Let's have a talk about how we think we're going to line up. For me, Danny, we're going to go much stronger than Tuesday.
Yeah.
How strong to a normal league game do you think we'll see?
I think because we've now got a little bit of an extended break because we're doing Friday, Tuesday instead of Saturday, Tuesday, it could be a case of, just go for it, treat it as if it is a league game and keep the fitness levels up. Because obviously we've played a lot of first teamers on Tuesday. But because the intensity level wasn't where we want it to be, I think there will be a fair few changes, but we'll probably change it to a regular League 11, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the key thing, not the key thing, but the key players that were left out on Tuesday give you a good sign who's coming in. Richard Wood will probably come back in. Barlaser will put down the microphone on the pitch. Ben Wiles, similarly, obviously wasn't in the squad, will probably come in. Smith and Freddy's on the bench. Bear in mind, Griggs potentially injured. He's got a backside injury. And I know it's semi-serious.
Stop it.
It's very funny. I don't know why. Changes. Gio back in. You'd have thought, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm with Danny. I think he'll go full pelt, full strength. I think he'll pick a full strength side. Because there's always that reward of a big payday in round 3 potentially. So, we've got to this point now. It would be foolish not to try and get through to the third round and grab a decent payday.
Yeah, add to the January transfer funds.
Yeah.
It's a weekend full of draws. We'll find out obviously Friday night if we're through to the third round. Papa John's is around. We'll be around 2:30 on Saturday afternoon for all you really excited. Can't wait for that one. Record it. Just you rewatch it. You can rewatch it if it's that exciting. The third round is again at about 10:30 on Monday night after St Albans against Boreham Wood. It goes on after. I love the FA Cup, but I tell you what. The way these TV companies treat it is just bizarre. But we're not in charge of it, so let's not get fussy about it. A couple of predictions. Danny, what do you reckon for Friday? It's a tough one to call for me, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to design a thumbnail for putting my 2 vlogs together, which is what I'm doing this week, and putting League Pizza Cup and FA Cup together in one vlog because 2 cup games in a week, And just as a space filler, I've gone 3-1, and it's like, yeah, you can see it, but I've seen a lot of people saying, Stockport might just grab a goal and sit on it, which won't play to us, or they might just go for it like they did in the second half and extra time against Bolton. But no, I'll stick with 3-1 to us. I think it'll be difficult. They'll score, but it just could be pace that helps us out, to be honest.
Yeah. Mate, we don't want a draw. Nothing we want is a replay.
No, we don't do it really. No, but I suspect we might get one. I don't know. I can't. I'm going to say 2-1 Millers, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if we if we end up as a 1-1.
Okay. I'm going to go 3-0. I write these down every week on this bit of paper here. I never once look back at it. I don't know why I write them down. But anyway, they're written down.
I think we should perhaps get Mick Twig on, because he keeps putting on his score predictions, and it always starts with 6. So
I mean, are Donny as bad as Stockport? That's the question, you know.
Yeah. Well,
question.
Mick might be right. Might be 6 then. Might change. Might to 6-0.
It is one of those games that it could. You know, if we get an early goal, we don't even need an early goal, do we? You look at the City game in the Pete's Trophy. Yeah. Well, that 0-0 half time. But if we turn it on, if we properly turn it on, they will not be able to keep pace with us. And they know that. They know that's the case. Because to be fair, most League One clubs can't keep pace with us when we turn it on. Go on, mate.
No, I've got no else. I've got no to add to that. You're absolutely right. It's just whether we're able to do that, isn't it? You know, it feels as though the last few games that intensity's not quite been there. However, you know, it was a tough game at Ipswich, it was a tough game at Oxford. It was a tough game the other night, you know. So, and none of those teams really allowed us to play. Ipswich did to a degree, but certainly Oxford didn't, and Port Vale didn't allow us to play. If they come tomorrow night or Friday night and allow us to play, then Mick Twig might be right. You know, that there certainly is the potential for that. If they don't allow us to play, you know, they come and sit back, then it could be tough.
Yes. So thank you very much, Mick, Danny. It's always a pleasure. Thank you all for watching and listening. Thank you for all the kind comments the past few days. Got us over 400. I asked you to get us over 400 subscribers, and within 13 minutes, we were over 400 subscribers.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you very much for everybody who's subscribed already. If you haven't, do go over to YouTube and subscribe already, and make sure you're on iTunes if you just prefer the audio. That would be lovely as well. Like the Spotify year listings has come out, and we've had several people sort of tweeting out, letting us know that we're their top listen through their Spotify. Again, we really, really appreciate it. We're just 3 idiots talking about the club we love. So it's nice that people enjoy it. They do mean a lot. All the comments and stuff, they do mean a lot to me, and I think it's been Mick and Danny as well. Yeah, we can do something which you enjoy. That's all we're trying to do in it. We will be back on Sunday evening for the review of the Stockport game and look ahead back to league action on Tuesday. Watch out for Danny's matchday vlog that will put up Saturday or Sunday, depending on I don't know. Depends on life, doesn't it, Danny?
Yeah. I mean, it's a Friday night, so we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be celebrating on January, so let's see how game goes. Oh, Stephen Adams, what happened to the beanie? Bear with me. This is my hat I won from the man of the match poll.
Hey.
I was going to wear it. The problem is it is incredibly good quality, and the heat's on today. So I would have been so hot wearing. I'm quite hot wearing this thin little Santa hat that I'm wearing. But for all YouTube listeners, that's the hat. And thank you very much to the club, Toast Heads. And thanks to me for voting as retweet, I suppose. Thanks to myself. Thank you.
If anyone from the club shop's watching, get me one of them Viking fluffy hats. I really want one of them. If I get one of them, I will wear it on the podcast. The podcast after I get it, I promise.
We need some Santa hats with a badge on. We might have to buy his own badge and do that ourselves.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I've said loads of thank yous, but thank you again anyway. Thank you very much. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Mick. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you all. Come on, Mick.
Did you not say something about some Twitter Spaces thing?
I always forget something. It's good you're here, isn't it? Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. It means nothing to me. I just know you said Twitter and Spaces. And
so tomorrow night after the Stockport game, at around 10:15 on Twitter only, we're going to bring a Twitter Space, which is basically you just click on the link and you will be able to listen to us. You'll be able to. I'm pretty confident you'll be able to request to speak. So it's effectively like a praise and grumble type thing, match reaction. We're going to see how it goes. It may not go very well. If it doesn't go very well, we won't do it again. But we saw a lot of clubs over the last weekend doing it. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. Turns out crap. If you're not on Twitter, I'm sorry, it's Twitter only, unfortunately. So yeah.
Can I just add something in? I know we're right at the end of the podcast, but the Stockport game is Paul Warren's 250th game managing Rotherham.
Yeah. Just see that, yeah. That's an incredible number.
250. I mean, he's only got about another 40 to go, and he breaks his playing record.
I was going to say, if his playing record as well, he's been involved in over 500 games. You could add in there his fitness coach games as well.
Yeah,
it'll not be long of 1,000 games as part of the club. Yeah, incredible. Long may it continue. He has another 250. Right, I'm going to try and wrap up again. Anybody got anything you want to say? No? Cool.
Yeah, cut there.
Excellent. See you next week. See you Sunday, guys, for the review of Stockport. Look ahead to Gillingham. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, sorry, hang on a minute. I was supposed to be pressing some buttons here.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Hey,
Credits on one-on-one. The credit turning shoot container shot. Unbelievable! Apologies to the neighbours.